How are you? How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. Just trying to get through this lockdown without feeling like I'm doing like the same thing like every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's definitely a task in itself. How about yourself? How are you?
Good, good. So first of all, congratulations on the series. I binge watched it on one weekend completely, so it's well done.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, and I know that like everybody that was involved in it would be really happy to hear that because it was definitely something that we all put a lot of effort into. So to hear that is definitely a great feeling. Thank you.
So I was talking to Michael Kelly earlier this morning, and he said he had still
Yeah.
signed on for season two before season one was even released. So was that the case with you as well?
No, by the time that I signed on to the project, the first season had already finished, and they were already talking about getting ready for season two. So I think Michael had gotten into the conversation much earlier than I did, but it took me not it didn't take me long to want to join it just because Tom Clancy has just such a storied history with these types of really strong characters. So I was in for it from the get-go.
Tell us a bit about who Marcus is and what were you hoping to bring to this character?
Well, even the producers and the creative minds behind Jack Ryan were quite clear, at least explaining to me what Marcus was, and I felt that that was something that I could contribute to. And basically, it's a young man who had a brief but challenging history in the Navy and in the military as a whole, and he left on terms that left him feeling unfulfilled, if that makes sense. Yet he comes from a long line of bishops, men in his family who have been well storied in the military. So I think with him leaving, he felt like there was a lot of unfinished business in the realm of him proving himself. So when you find him, you find Marcus kind of just living day to day, doing things to pay the bills and keep the lights on, you know what I mean, and take care of his loved ones. But he still has kind of like that deep yearning to accept that challenge and accept that sense of duty where he can really accurately and effectively do something to help the greater cause and whatever that may be. So just playing someone who has something to prove and has a chip on his shoulder and is just so willing and so eager to prove himself was an opportunity that I was excited to do because I love playing the underdog, or at least representing the underdog for sure.
Kevin Kent, he's a former Navy SEAL and military
Mhm.
advisor, and he played a large role in shaping some of the sequences. So did he get a chance to work with him a lot or any other military officer?
I did. I got to work with Kevin so much. We spent, because we were in Colombia, I want to say at least 3 or 4 months, it felt like. And from the second day of me getting there, I mean, I flew in, you check in and get into the hotel or where we were staying and everything like that. And from the second day, we were up at like 8 in the morning, me and the other operators, or the actors playing operators. And we met with Kevin. We had already been kind of coordinating over the phone and over emails before I got there. But once we landed, it was right to work. We started picking out the equipment that we wanted to wear and the things that we felt, were personal and kind of customized for each of our characters. And once he came in and fit us and made sure everything was operating okay, we went straight into firearm drills and exercises and things like that. And we were doing that every day for weeks, just to prepare and just to feel that sense of authenticity when playing these people, because there's so much training that goes involved, as you know, that goes involved, or that's involved with with people who join the armed forces. So you can't get on TV and just end up pointing your weapon in a funny way, or doing it that seems false, because then it's just going to ruin the power and the realism that's based in the show that we pride ourselves on for
Yeah.
so highly.
There was one scene in particular where you seen jumping from the plane. Did you guys really get to do that?
They did. I would love to be able to say on camera that was really us jumping out of the plane, but well, from what I learned, many production companies cannot ensure their actors who they need to be in tons and tons of scenes. They're not going to be able to ensure them to actually jump out of planes, especially if they're not already, certified skydivers. So that part, we had an excellent stunt team to to execute that portion of the sequence. But a lot of the water stuff, the swimming and the operating of the boat, I actually got to do, and my castmates did as well.
Yeah, darn. I was hoping to say hear you guys say, "Yeah, you guys actually jumped from the plane."
Yeah, and some, I know some actors are like, yeah, that was us, but then they always end up getting like exposed later on. And it's like, that'd be way more embarrassing. I'd rather take the opportunity to give credit to the super, super talented stunt team, and then, take credit for the acting, because that's what we did, I was tempted to be like, yeah, I jumped, but then I pulled back. I chickened out.
So what did you treasure from your experience on the show? Because it definitely looks like you had a fabulous time with the cast and the crew. So what would you say is the one thing you treasured from the
I think
experience?
it's hard to pick one thing. I think it was just an opportunity to film in a location that I had never been to before, and to really be involved in a production of that size. I think, again, like I mentioned before, Tom Clancy has such a huge following, and it's such a revered piece of IP, that getting a chance to come into the second season and have this character who has a pretty interesting storyline, and have that kind of, coexist with Jack Ryan's illustrious image, it was just an honor, and it was a privilege. And getting a chance to work with the Michael Kellys and the Wendell Pierces and the John Hugenockers and the Victor Rasuks and everyone, Alan Hawko, everybody, and of course Krasinski, of course, but like everyone who was involved, it was just a treat to kind of get to build a sense of brotherhood with them all, and just kind of have like this singular shared experience and challenge of just putting some great moments and great experiences on film and getting to share it with everyone over, across the world. It was, I know you asked me to pick one, but I just couldn't, because the whole experience was just such like a big, for me, that I was just, yeah. And it's something that I will never forget, ever.
Okay, that's nice. And you've been cast in roles where the character struggles with personal traumas in the past. So do you enjoy fleshing out these characters?
Enjoy fleshing out characters with personal traumas. I don't know how to answer that, because it feels like I've been asked that before, and my parents always pick with me, because they're always like, yeah, do you just like playing traumatic, like traumatized people? And it's like, no, it's not that, but it's just the opportunity you get to remind people that we're imperfect creatures. We don't come out of the womb just having everything in life figured out and having the answers to everything. So I like playing characters who are trying to find what life means to them specifically, because it's different to everybody. There's different views of success and views of love and friendship and loyalty. It means different to different people. So I like playing characters who don't have all those answers and are trying to figure out their place in the world and how they can contribute and live a fulfilling life. So that's what excites me about those type of characters. It just so happens that the last few have been dealing with just massive amounts of trauma.
And lastly, what can you tell us about season 3?
Season 3, I can't tell you much, because I know that they're working really hard to try to figure out where it's going. We left the end of the second season with such a bang, and it was such a heated moment that, and what I really appreciate about the producers of the show on Amazon is that they're taking their time to make sure that the story that's being told is a story that needs to be told, and it's told accurately, and it's told in a way that continues to be entertaining for the huge following that we have. So because of that, I think that they're being just extra precious, which is what I prefer. If you're going to tell a story, make sure you tell it right. So they're being extra precious, and they're taking their time to make sure that it's the right story.
Is there a particular storyline you'd like to see from Marcus going in forward?
I think there's a lot of ways, and there's a lot of directions that you could take Marcus, just because I know that he was ultimately able to I believe, feel a bit of acceptance in who he is being Marcus, not trying to be his father, his uncles, or whoever. So I would hope that if they decide, Marcus wants to continue, I just want him to feel that he has a sense of identity in whatever he's doing, and that he feels confident in taking on whatever mission is thrown at him.
Well, thank you so much for the chat. I'm wishing you all the best and hoping to see more of that as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time.